Hello everyone, this is Lisa Learning. We already talked about how to start the GraphQL server and how to query data at the client side. So in today's demo, let's talk about the schema and the types. First question is, what's schema? When I started learning this, it's a little bit abstract for me. For me, the schema is like the data structure. It describes what kind of data we can query and how we can query them, and also the relationship between data. For example, if we have a bunch of data now and we want to store them in very clear way or use some rules to store them, so later when we query the data, we can easily and quickly fetch the information that we want to get. It's like we need to find the socks in the wardrobe. So if we don't define the great rules to store the data, then it's like a messy. In GraphQL, the schema is a blueprint for the GraphQL server. It defines the structure and available operations for the interaction between the front-end and the back-end. Let's get started. So let's go to the website. It's about the schema and the types. Let's go to the query mutation and the subscription types. So we have three root operation type, which is like the query, the mutation, and the subscription. The query is like we can fetch the data from the backend server. And the mutation is like if we want to modify the data we have, for example, we need to add a new item, modify the item, or delete something. And for the subscription, we get the real-time data from the backend. So if the backend update, we can get the latest data. We can have one or more than one root operation type. And this query is a must-have. And the mutation and the subscription are optional. And I want to talk about the Scalar type first. From the Scalar, we can say we have two Scalar types. One is we can use the built-in types. And also we can define some a Scalar type. For the built-in type, we have the int, which is a 32-bit integer. The float is like a double precision floating point value. String is like a UTF-8 character sequence, Boolean true or false. And the ID is like unique identifier. So except this built-in types, we can also have some customer-defined Scalar types. For example, we can define this date or datetime type. And then secondly important type is like object type. Object type is a customer-defined type, which includes many fields. And this fields can be the Scalar type, or it can be an other object type. And we talk about this query, mutation, and subscription, which they are all object type. And then it's like an enum type. Enum type means we have predefined possible potential types. For example, the direction we have south, east, west, north. And then the type modifier. By default, all of the type can be null. And we can use the exclamation mark to make it like not null. And then list, it's a collection type. We can have a Scalar list, or we can have like object list. And we can, in the later, we're gonna have a demo to talk more details about this exclamation mark and the list. And then it's the interface type. Interface type is like abstract type. And we use this to define certain set of fields that's a concrete object type, a must have. And also union type. Union type is like also the abstract type. Union type is like allow a field to return one of the potential types. For example, if we return a research result, we can get a human or droid or starship type. And also next one is like input object type. Input object type, we usually use this if we have this input argument when we query data. We use the input type to define what's the field in this type. Next part, let's go to the IDE. So this is the GraphQL server. This is a code we have in my first video. And there is three major parts. First one is define the schema. And the second one is provide the resolver functions. And then we have added this middleware. And let's remove everything and start from the beginning. First, I want to talk about the root operation type, which we have three types. First one is a query, and then we have a mutation, and also we have subscription. So this query type is the must-have item. We need to have one and only one query in our schema. This is like the entry point for all of the queries. And the mutation is if we want to create, update, or delete items. Subscription is like we want to always get real-time updates. For the query, let's use an example. For example, assume I have a bookstore and I want to return all of the books that I own. So it's all books. So you return a string list, and the mutation say I want to create a book and return a string. And the subscription say I want to subscribe book list, and I'm gonna return string list as well. And then in the root, the resolver function, I'm gonna have this all books resolver function, which we can return none, because as a default, all of the types are nullable. So let's just start this server, and I'm gonna use a node_mon, so that if I change, I don't need to restart the server. And let's go to this IDE. Let's start the query. So this parenthesis means the query, or we can have this query in front of this parenthesis. So I want all books, and let's click, and it's gonna return the null. And also I want to talk about the root type. So we have this root type in our code, and then we can check each of them from this IDE. So for example, we have a query here. We can get all books. The return is like a string array. And also the mutation is going to return a string. Also, we have this explanation for this scalar type here. And it's the same for the subscription. And then let's go back to the IDE. And after that, let's clean all of the comments. So what happens if we remove this query type? As we know, we need to have a one and only query type in our code, or else the backend, it won't have any error message. But when we query the data, it's gonna say the query root type must be provided. And if we go to the network and do it again, then we can say it's 500 error. So let's restore. How about if we have like a two query type, and let's get books temp, and the app is gonna crash. It means we cannot have like a two query type. Let's remove one. Save. So I want to talk about this not none type. So now, because this one is the nullable, and if I add the exclamation mark, then we cannot return none for all books. And let's go to the IDE. The front end is going to change the cannot return none for non-nullable field, all books. So here we have to return something. So how about if we return an empty list? So it works fine. And how about if I add the exclamation mark inside of the array? This means we still can return an empty list. This exclamation mark means we cannot return the non-elements. So let's check this. How about if we return a non-element in the... So you're gonna say cannot return none for all books. Let's have like one. So I can say returns correctly. And let's use another example. I already have this prepared. We have a book list. Let's return. So instead of return string list, let's return the book list. And we have to define this book type. It's like a type definition. Here, type book. We can see from our example, the book have ID, title, price, sold, how many books we have been sold, in stock, and author. So the book, we have ID, which we can have it as ID type. and it cannot be null. And also the title should be a string type, and the price is like a float. Sold should be int type. In stock, it's like a boolean type. And then it's an author. We can now define the author type inside of a book type. It doesn't work. It's gonna return error if we do something like this. So it's like a string name. Should be the ID. Cannot be none. So if we save it, it's gonna app crash because we cannot define here inside of the book type. So instead, we have to define author. And then let's just copy this. Save it. And for this all books, we're gonna return this books. At the same time, let's just remove the mutation and the subscription, because in this demo, I'm only gonna focus on the query, and in the next demo, I will talk about this mutation. Let's remove it. And I'll go back to this, the web IDE. And because now the all books is like an object to return, the list includes the object type. So if we run it, it's gonna return. So all books must have the selection of subfields. So for the all books, we need to return the ID, like the title, price, sold, in stock, author. Because author is also an object, so everything should be the Scalar type in this IDE. We're gonna have the ID and also name. Let's run it. We return the two books we have with Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings. So we can get all books from a library. And the second one, also I want to get a selected book. Because it's a selected book, so we have to pass an argument saying we want the ID. So it's pretty simple. We just define this ID as the input argument, and the type is the ID. Also, it cannot be null. And we return this book type, just like this all books. And then for the resolver, and get selected book. It's gonna have this resolver function. So let's check what's in this argument first. And also return, let's just return null. Save it. And then it's get selected book. So if we refresh the page, it's gonna have this reminder. Because we need to pass the argument, so here I just pass, say we want the book first one. I think, yeah, this is the second one, the Lord of the Ring. And then let's do it. Because, we return now in the resolver. But as we can say, this argument is like an object, which has this ID field. And also, if we say add another one, it's a title. This object gonna include two fields, ID and the title. So let's test it here. So it's title. No title on the field. Oh, I didn't save it. Let's save it. And then I run it. And now you can say this object includes the ID field and also the title field. Let's remove this because this is we don't need the title in our demo. And now we can deconstruct from this argument the ID. And then we just return the book. Find book. If the book ID equals to the ID we provide, then we just return this book. Let's save it. And then remove this title. let's run it. Oh, we have this 10, actual 10. So now we're gonna get this to the Lord of the Rings successfully. That's it. That's everything for today's demo. And in the next video, I will talk about the mutation and more about this input arguments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!